Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another AI Thursday AI Takeover. So we continue this series throughout August, and I really want to help you get the most and best understanding about all of these things. Obviously, we are doing a quite deep delivery for quite a few of you guys who opted to accelerate their AI implementation, using the property AI brain since a couple of weeks, and it's been great to see the progress here. But at the fringe of that, and in preparation for, like a deep dive bootcamp I've got for you beginning of September, just to help frame and help you understand some of the things we figure out over the time, and structured in ways where you can consume easily. So that's kind of the idea here. So let me go and share my screen. We're going to go into slides straight away. Cool. Right. So I don't need that. So welcome to today's AI, takeover. And in this part two, we're going to talk about why is it that your AI doesn't actually know you, while you might think you do. So if you've not watched part one, go and watch part one. It gives you a good idea of certain concepts. And here we're going to go deep into why is it that your ChatGPT seems to know you, but it doesn't really. And so to put this into context, if you don't know Property Filter, what we do, so this is based on more than 3,250 offers accepted. We are in the last 12 months across 1,800 of the savviest and most active investors in the country, using the Property Filter ecosystem, the blueprints, the community support, the lead generation software, and basically all the methodology that makes everything work, and the AI layer that links everything together. So if you want to accelerate things in property, you are in the right place. So today we're going to talk about a 60-second test you can run through your AI. So I'm going to give you a resource. You can go and try and do the same. And if you're watching the recording, when you basically sign up to the bootcamp, you get instant access to this resource straight away, which is basically how to get your business, property business, ready for AI to run it. And part of that are a few questions you can ask your own AI, and you can see how little it knows you. So we're going to do I've just run this like minutes ago, so that we don't wait for the AI to think, etc. So we're going to see side by side how that works, And I'm going to talk about why your score is low and what AI actually reads and how it works, and the fix for you, or you go from a blank AI, into an AI that points to your context, side by side, how you can make the most of that, But you might think, well, wait a minute, Guillaume, I've been using ChatGPT for a few years, it knows me, like, sure, it knows me, doesn't it, because when I ask it, it knows my name, and it kind of we bounce on stuff. It makes jokes about things we talked about before, and it kind of knows. It kind of knows enough, but it's a gimmick. It knows enough to keep you coming back. But does it know enough to be like a team member? Does it know enough to do stuff for you, to help you in your investment decision, to help you in stacking your deals, to challenge, when maybe you get a bit too excited and you offer too much, in the follow-up and stuff like that. How do you actually use AI in a way that makes you money? So AI is great, and it's great, and it's an impressive gimmick for most people. But how much money have you made with AI today? Like honestly, how much more deals have you done today? If you're like 99% of the people, if not more than that, it's not much. It's the reality. So we get excited, distracted, but the reality is, I want to put to an end, this whole like we play and we talk a good game, and we go to like we work and we make money. That's really the idea here. And the truth is, like your ChatGPT. I said ChatGPT because most people use ChatGPT, but it's the same for all of them. It remembers just enough to make you believe it does, and makes you coming back. And then I'm just quoting OpenAI's own words, from some statement they did in just this year in June. So it's like talking to someone who took a few notes but still forgot everything that wasn't written down, and then they will admit they will admit it goes stale and becomes incorrect over time. This is like verbatim like what OpenAI, the way they talk about their chat functionality, and it gets even worse, because since April this month, by default, a lot of the accounts have been set to quick answer to save credits because they have constraints on the amount of compute, and it's why they can't build enough data center fast enough, and so the quick answer doesn't even look at the memory it has, so it just goes basic parameters, your name, your job, and then goes on the internet, look for goes into its own data to find stuff. There's nothing really specific about you. And when we take investment decisions, when we have deals criteria, when we have walk away numbers, pass fail criteria, like AI is going to make us work more whilst we believe we are keeping busy. People stay on this roller coaster, and it was already the case before AI, but now it's even worse. This all learned procrastination people have, as they get into property and they watch another video and they play. I see a lot of people go around and play, but it's time to do stuff that works and makes money. So it's really the idea. So I'm going to share with you a little resource. You can go and paste into your AI and get your AI to mark itself. So I'm going to go inside. So basically, at the end, I invite you to join the bootcamp. You're going to have the ability to join the bootcamp we're running in September. And then when you do, you're going to have access to this resource page. And one of the things in here is get your free AI guide and prompt. So this is, I think I've got it open somewhere here. So in here, there's all the concepts basically explaining all the architecture of the AI brain, and how to manage your own memory, your own context, so that your AI actually knows you and does stuff. And then later in your document, there's these 25 questions to test your AI or to see if they can answer things around your criteria. Like what makes a deal, what doesn't make a deal, what is the area you invest and you don't. And then what's like how do you manage your own portfolio, like certificates renewal, mortgage renewals, etc. Any filters, things what be worth your time to go on a viewing or not. What's on your pipeline right now? Okay, where is your pipeline at? Who is waiting for who? Do you need to chase the vendors? You are waiting something for the agent, etc. Any information from your last viewing, any live deals you got right now. So how much are you putting into the refurbs? Where's that money going to come from? Like really all the things you need to do in your property business, and that really matters. But does your AI really knows it? So I'm going to put the link to this in the thing, right? I think if the team is here, it's maybe better if you have I'm going to put the link to register to the link to register to the bootcamp, and then you can do the same. So if the team can find it, that'd be great. And I'm going to go back inside here. We're going to go into my good old ChatGPT. So what I've done is I've put here the whole PDF and say, can you please answer the 25 questions for me, one by one? Yes, I'll answer the 5 questions. Great. So this is my ChatGPT. So I've used this ChatGPT for like 4 years now, 3.5 years. I've run campaigns on this account. I've run like all sorts of, you'd think it knows everything that I know for all the stuff I've been talking about. The old property filter blueprint has been disclosed in there. I've used it, to draft offers and stuff over the years, And so criteria, not known. How much can I actually deploy this year, and how much can I prepare to lose? Not known. What postcode do I invest in? Not known. Historically, you're in Birmingham, but who knows? What is the minimum margin that I refuse to go under? Not known. I'm pretty sure I talked about stuff like with it. What I already known. So certificates. To be fair, I've not really done much of portfolio management admin through AI. So fair enough. It doesn't know. Like when my mortgage renews and stuff like that. So fair enough. My filters, what I'm bidding rules, which properties like go, no go, goes in more, like not known. Or far below market value, is it worth my time to go on a viewing? Not known. Where do I need actually come from? Not known. It doesn't even know I'm using property filter, I know the property filter workflow and lead generation mechanism extremely well from our conversation, but that doesn't establish which channel generates you personal investment leads. Obviously, I'm going to be using property filter. I'm a bit gobsmacked that he doesn't even know that, right? What did I decide? I will never do one. So not known. Your pipeline, people not known. Which owner have I approached? I'm literally, I've got live deals that I've spoken to it about stuff recently. What did the agent tell me? So not known. Which agent called me last? Not known. Viewings. What did I see on the last viewing? Not known. What am I doing? So you can do the same test for you, and you'll see, and you'll score. I hope you score better than me. So if I scroll down, live deals, so you got some property we will be looking at here, but not known. What did I assume for the refurb? yeah, not known. That's not even the last one we looked at. I have a full schedule of work actually for this, So what would have been the true for me to walk away from this, not known. So I've got like pre-set criteria, like I'm a bit. So I score really poorly on this, like 0 out of 25. But maybe because I've used Claude a bit more recently for more recent deals, etc. But that's it. So have a look if you go register for the bootcamp, getting some instant access to this resource you can download. You just drop the PDF in your AI and say, please answer honestly those 25 questions. And I've scored really bad, like so 0 out of 25. When we run this through a couple of team members who invest in property, they scored 2 out of 25, and that's quite normal. And it's what you would expect from your surface level AI, with kind of like pretending to know stuff whilst it doesn't really, Okay, so I'll let you run through this, and then you let me know in the chat, or in the comment section below, like how did you score? Okay, so because the things your AI can't answer is that it doesn't know you, right? It goes like little task by little task, goes and search stuff on the internet, but truly and really, it cannot assist you in creating outcomes for you. It cannot assist you in doing any work for you. It's all nice, and we tell ourselves a good story that we are doing some work because AI is writing all sorts of text that is useless and garbage, and it seems like we keeping busy, And so long as your AI is not baked in your margins, your investment criteria, what is a pass fail, go no go, worth your time to go on a viewing, like the highest number you can offer, so long as it doesn't know like tactically which area and postcode you go into and which you don't, you'll just waste your time on stuff that are not worth your time, if you don't have these settled up, then there's the sell, if you're following up with a vendor, if you're following up with agents and your AI doesn't even know the context that, they've moved on to Devon, every time they go up, it's like a 6-hour drive or whatever. Like you need to know this stuff, and ultimately you need to know your walkaway number for every deal you look at. And it's black and white, Otherwise, you will still live in this overwhelm. Is a deal? Is a deal? Like every day, every second of the day, you'll be wondering, is this deal a deal or not? It's just black and white, And if you're not clear for yourself, that's probably the first step, right? But it's easy to get coached by AI to have all of these field nails if you follow the right blueprint, So if you have like an AI that knows all of these things and interviews you to make sure, like you are clear on your criteria, ask you those questions, the same way people used to pay mentors, like tens of thousands of pounds to basically like one-on-one giving you this clarity. This is the new world, And then if you don't know this to yourself, you'll be exhausting yourself, running around, achieving very little because you'll never know when to move forward, when to move away, and when to progress anything, And now in the age where AI could do all of these things for you, if it doesn't know, it's just going to keep you, looking busy, right? It's just going to help you being even more of a busy fool you might have been, entertaining, like making you having a great time, but you're playing, but you're not making money, right? So that's really the idea. So AI is not stupid, it's just reading the wrong things first. The reason why it doesn't know this in the current setup when you go on ChatGPT.com or whatever, like on the Claude.ai, on any AI, you work, using just like the chat functions and you ask it stuff and it gives you platitude. Because it's trained on all of the internet, it read loads of books, loads of the internet, but it doesn't know anything about your niche, doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know anything about your criteria. And so it's just going to give you the, like we see, like the vast amount of platitude that they are out there, And yes, it's interesting, it's like because maybe you were doing property investment on a scooter before, and then now you've been given a car, and it's really fun to drive the car, But are you reaching a destination faster or are you going further with the car? I don't know, right? That's a good question. So yes, it's interesting, and we're having fun with the car. Like now I'm about to show you the rocket, but you'll be like, oh yeah, but I quite like the car. So always, whatever you do, you have to be honest with yourself. Are you doing something to play, to have a good time, to tell yourself a good story? lie to your kids, lie to your spouse about what is it that you are actually doing. I'm a property investor. Look at me. I'm doing stuff on ChatGPT. Or I am clear. I want to make money. This is the plan, and we go. I've got AI to do stuff for me to actually go and do it. So don't get trapped into or how much seductive it can be to play. Like it's the casino, right? So we go and play, we get a bit of a reward, and then we go back and play. It's nice and fun, but the house always wins. You just you just here spending token, literally. But how much deals, how much stuff are you getting on the other side? So don't become a busy fool. Don't get enchanted. Like don't get. I don't know if that's even English. But from I think it is from the enchanted forest, if that's even a thing. I don't know. So don't get seduced. By this, you need to go back to, does this actually makes me money? Okay. And the way, so this is for you if you want to implement this for yourself, right? The way to make AI work for you is to flip the current setup on its head, where today it's just giving you platitude around everywhere on the internet. The hierarchy at which your AI should go and retrieve information should be first looking at your own files, first looking at your stuff, your criteria, your goals, your criteria. It needs to viscerally, personally know you the same way a coach would, the same way, like a consultant would, you wouldn't go into, paying someone £10,000, to become your property coach, like a one-to-one help, for the next 6 months, 12 months. And you would not tell him or her, your criteria, obviously he will ask you and coach you through all of this. So the right AI, if you like, blueprint will be able to point you towards, asking yourself all the right question, but so that you have all of this written somewhere, or generated somewhere. But first, any questions you ask your AI, it should be filtered through like everything about you, like what are you trying to achieve? What are your criteria? Okay, great. So now, in light of your criteria and the questions you're being asked, let's go into a vetted library. So we, rather than go everywhere on the internet, we should ask, you should own a piece of a library, or have got access to a piece of a library that's current to the strategies working right now. That's current to the way people buy and sell properties right now. Not the sum of all the blog articles since 2012 on strategies that stopped working in 2018, which is what the internet is made of, right? So how do you gate your AI into first looking into through the lens of what's important to you, then through what works right now, and then if you run out of steam there, only then go and look on the internet last. That's really the idea. If you want to build this for yourself, or if you want to join this property AI brain we created that follows this architecture. Okay, and because the thing is, your general chat only does it backwards. It goes on the it's training data, and then the internet, and it's why every answer you get reads like an article. It's like a platitude. It's kind of interesting. We went from the scooter to the car, but are we reaching our destination? I'm not sure. So it's kind of fun. But it does stuff. Don't get me wrong. If you ask it for cooking recipes, probably I've had the same recipe since ever. I need to give you.
No, ubusin mo na muna
YouTube
isa.
guys, they're really cool.
Hala, naubos mo na yun. Di tama na. Bukas naman yan.
May use that.
Tama na. Ayos na.
There you go. Right. So let's go back to this. Where are we? How do I get rid of that? Okay. Well, I don't know. Right. So I was saying, your chat goes backwards. So it goes through its training data, then goes all over the internet. But all of these are platitudes. Like this is the sum of all the blog articles it's read. These are strategies that stop working forever. It will give you stuff that make you feel like it's doing stuff, but how much of it is making you money today? That's really the idea and the challenge. So now I'm going to ask the same question, and you'll see I'll have a very different answer. So just earlier, I was up here in my ChatGPT, right? So over here, and you see like I ask up really that's my account, my paid account, in ChatGPT. Okay, so recently we've been using Claude a lot more, and then pointing Claude into my second brain. So for those of you who know, this is where you own your own context, and all the stuff basically sits in here. So you can have different things here. Basically, You can see that's your brain. When you get it as a template to start with, it looks like this, and then you build on. You're going to be able to build on top of it. So with you at the center, it knows you, etc., etc. And because you got this context here, I dumped the PDF here and asked the same question. So let's see. So it answered everything one by one. Let's see how I score. So I scored 20 out of 25. So 5 gaps. So I don't run my portfolio through it, which I could, because I've got a business partner who does all of that. But I didn't upload all my property details as to like when my mortgage renews, insurance. How do I get the best deal for my insurance? It's probably something I need to add to my brain. But then all the rest, it knows all my stuff. So if I start from the best monthly income, so it knows I want 5 grand from property alone. Deliberately not dated because now I'm busy doing property filter, and then the property stuff goes in, just slowly grows in the background, primarily paying back some debt and building equity, etc., etc. How much cash can I deploy? So here we talked about doing more flips this year. So I've got like 50 grand of capital that I can go and get on. Okay, like it knows all of this stuff about me. Now it knows I'm looking into like different places like in Northeast, and it knows like the margins. So 15-25% for flips depending on the complexity. So I'll do a 15% when I have very little to do, and 25% if I have to do like more work. So it knows all my stuff, and I score 20 out of 25. And again, knowing this, I could really talk back to it and then go and update my context so that it always knows. So do you see? And then honestly, those of you guys who've got the brain, the property AI brain, you can try side by side, and you'll see how often this is. And apart from anything else, gives you a direction to help, build your own context. Okay, so this is when, this is really important because you will turn basically a generic waffle from your AI. It's impressive, it's talkative, but really, are we playing or are we making money? So how do we go from this generic waffle play to numbers we can defend, outcome we can create, and actually make money in property? So I just want, my big idea with today's video is I want to challenge your use of AI and the lies you tell yourself. Because I see too many people basically, I use AI, it's nice and fun. AI should really empower you to make a lot more money, to outwork teams of 10 people whilst you're on your own working an hour a day. But I don't see that, in 99% of people. And the answer it's never been about like what's the best model or what's the best tools and what's the best little gadgets. It's the context you own. None of this matters if you don't point your AI into a context you own and compound. So that's really the idea. So your success, implementing these tools is not about the AI tools. It's not about the AI tools you buy, but it's about the context you own. That's the big idea we talked a few times. So that's it for today. I'm gonna go into the private Q&A for our members now. And in the meantime, in the next video, we're gonna talk about how your context actually lives and why those folders actually build the tools. And you'll see how this very simple organization, if you adopt it, will your context will outlive the likes of OpenAI. It will outlive the likes of Anthropic and these companies. Because for all I know, these are like the AOL of the internet. They're like the first companies we know about. But 20 years from now, we might all speak Chinese. So all the models will be there. AI will be very, very different. So you don't want to basically give away all of your data to these companies and then they disappear. And then you've never. All of this time, you could be compounding stuff that actually makes you money. So we're going to talk more about that in the next video. In the meantime, so have a look in the show notes or wherever, like in the comments. I will ask the team to put a link to the bootcamp we are running in September. And when you register, you can download this. You get this whole document here that basically explains all the structure of these files we're going to go over, over the next this series. You're going to get all of this brain organization if you want to do it yourself, so you get instant access to all of this. the full library of how it sort of works, and then you can run this test yourself. And get this straight away when you register to the bootcamp in September. And I do encourage everyone to join, as we expect 2,500 of our members and partners, to come and join. And it's going to be, basically going to do a deep dive on all of this. So if you enjoy the concepts we've talked about so far, I'm going to go really, really deep, so as to help you, give you all the keys to do it yourself if you want. So, and once more, it's not about, if AI feels overwhelming, if you think there's a new model all the time, there are new tools, I see ads all the time for these new tools, this new thing, you're gonna be like spinning around in circles, from one tool to another. Every one of these tools will be disrupted by the next one 6 months later. Like literally, they have a shelf life of 6 months to 18 months. So like, why committing to any one of them? There are hundreds of thousands of them. Whereas, it's not about, this is not your race. Your race is not what are the AI tools to buy. It's about what context you own, and then you can build on top of that, and your context outlive even the biggest companies in this game. All right. So that's me for today, and now let's go into the members only Q&A, right? Right. Okay. Cool. So let me have a look. Let me have a look at ask me any questions. So someone says good luck with that. I'm not sure with what, but let me know. Yeah, bootcamp link. Yeah, I thought there was the team around. Be good if they can share the bootcamp link. Otherwise, give me just a sec. I thought we kind of prompted you to share earlier. Sorry, just give me just a sec. I'm going to find it in just a sec. Okay, community, there we go. I'll just double check that speaking Chinese. Well, that's to live with your time, huh? There we go. There you go. Is the link. So if you're not on it already, so that's basically 2nd or 3rd of September. Basically revamping all of the things we know around AI, how we implement it, and with the learnings from working with like 70 something of you to implement it over the month of August, like basically redelivered in a way that's going to make a lot more sense. So yeah. Any questions? Let me know. I got this answer. This exercise actually highlights something important. Those aren't questions that require a smarter AI, that require a well-maintained operating system for your business. Yes. If we build your property command center properly, it will know the answer to nearly all those. Yeah, based on everything I'm together. That's absolutely right. So basically, the property AI brain that we created for ourselves, and that's there's 70 people in the community who are the early adopters of it now, and then there's 20 of high-profile people, like Adam Lawrence, Simon Ducci, Michelle Kearns, Paul Collier. Who else? There's quite a few we are helping right now. All of these guys are going through it, and the best way to describe it, it's exactly right. It's your personal AI operating system that is installed on your machine. And the thing is, you cannot do this through interacting with your ChatGPT, because all the data is owned by OpenAI. So it's about working with an AI interface to point at your context. So you build on top of it. And it's what I share with you basically on this. What I share with you with the this view here. This sits on your machine. So it starts like that, and then within a couple of months, it grows arms and legs. That's mine. And basically every note you ever taken about any course you've been on, everything, your AI assistant basically helps you. All right. Okay. Q&A is disabled. Say ask in the chat. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, ask the questions in the chat. Yeah, it's all recorded, Kobe. Yeah, you can go back. So you're saying the link don't work? So let me have a look. So because I think there's like 500 people already. Save my seat. Yeah, I can put my name down, I think. So yeah, it's worked for me. You're in. Join the WhatsApp group. Yeah, so all good. It works for me. This work now. So yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? So does that sort of make sense? Have you got any questions around AI and things? So I'm making an effort to really go through as many of these concepts, so that when
Hello,
you
may I
right,
talk?
can we stay muted? Be really cool. Oh, you want to speak? Sorry, sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
Well, I just said good luck with speaking Chinese. I'm joking.
Yeah, it's all good.
Won't be easy. Anyhow, recently I want to share some my experience with ChatGPT. For the last few days, I talked to a lot, but I just realized what ChatGPT provide me, the answers can be so um so so unclear, I would say, which probably prove what you mentioned about we cannot rely on ChatGPT. I mean, because it's like sometimes I ask one question and I thought, okay, what if, or hold on a minute, is it illegal, or somebody's mentioned maybe not right, and then it changes totally the scenario.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is so funny. I feel like where you can go or what you gonna do, it's you cannot rely on the ChatGPT at all. I haven't tried Claude yet. It's
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The truth is that it
yeah,
doesn't matter. Yeah. So this is exactly the point. So it will tell you whatever it wants, and
yeah,
also the
yeah.
thing is based on how many users are on it right now. It will manage.
Hmm.
It's a bit like the grid. It will
Yeah.
manage its whole compute capacity. So if there's a lot of people asking questions, the quality of the questions will go down. Because it just doesn't have as many data centers to run it. So if you the way it works, the way the whole thing works is math and statistics, without being complicated about it. But basically, it probabilistically guesses the next token, the next world, based on the multiplication of all the previous worlds. So based on the association of the previous world, it goes and guess what's the most likely next world, and then the most likely next one, and the most likely next one. So it's not clever, it's not sentient. It's just really good at guessing what's the best, couple of letters in the world is going to be. And it's where when you're challenging, you're like, oh yeah, sorry, I got
Yeah.
that wrong. And the problem is you are in property, you're stacking deals and stuff. You can't really rely on it. And what this creates is a defiance and people not trusting it, whilst really it's just not being used properly. So it's just not used to its capacity. So that's really important. This, because then that's why people then say, "Oh, ChatGPT is fast and impressive, but it's a bit rubbish for the question I ask it." So people then go to like a specific tool. So then you go and subscribe to this tool that is you pay for. They have their own interface, and they are really good at whatever. They'll be really good at tax or whatever. So all of what these tools are just wrappers around ChatGPT or another model with a specific context. Okay, so once you understand this, you're like, wait a minute, none of these ChatGPT wrapper, none of all these tools, you've seen it online. We talked about it on the last video. None of these things, all the 120 tools you need and whatever, like you don't need to learn 120 tools and subscribe to 120 tools. Every one of these tools have done is just a wrapper around, a model like a ChatGPT, and then they've given it a context that's specific to the questions you ask. So now the world is changing where you can own this context, because you can, especially all the stuff that are specific to you. And now, because like property people, they tend to go and get their knowledge in courses and events and stuff like that. You can go and record all of the you can record any call. You've got here we publicly give all the transcripts from every call on the community, so you can give it to your AI if you want. I don't mind. But all of this specific knowledge you can accumulate, you now own. Like it's kind of like it sits in your vault, it sits in your brain, in your AI brain. So property AI brain, as we call it. And all of this then links together into your own personal AI operating system for property. That's only there that it starts to be competent. So you might give it context about tax, you might give it context about some legal aspects, and so there are your personal context that you can stack on and add on like that. But then also you can tap into reputable libraries, So for example, you can tap into the property filter MCP, through this brain, and then you can access, basically every question and answer that's ever been asked in this community, formatted in a clever way. So like all the stuff that is current, It's not asking the internet. It's like, if you imagine, inside the property filter community over the last few years, there's no questions, no negotiation, like that's not been answered, There's no like role play that's not been done, So it's very, very, very current. And then this is the future, So the future is you don't rely on subscribing to so many tools. You don't need this. You've got your own AI you speak to through your AI interface. And then the AI interface can be like Claude Code or whatever. That points the Claude Desktop, or whatever, that points to the whatever model. And the model is the commodity, it doesn't really matter. But most importantly, that points to your context and then builds your context. And then on the side to that, you'll have the tools it connects to. And one of the tools can be like the property filter knowledge base, the property filter, your property filter deals, connected to it. So all of this exists, right, by the way. So it's all for the people who are on board with this, property AI brain. And then that's it, and then later on, you might become so successful in property that you're full time, you don't need to find new deals, but you have an interest in business, so you connect to the Alex Hormozy brain or whoever's brain, and that's really like the future of education now, or knowledge is not to sit in courses, is you to be really good at and confident at speaking to your AI, that knows you. And you connect it to all the stuff you need. That's really how it's going to work. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. And you have no chance if you. I mean, the same way you describe the same thing I described throughout the call and the video is your ChatGPT will just give you platitude, and it's getting worse and worse.
Does that mean we could have a personal platform or just our own diary or secretary thing? So you guys gonna provide us?
Yeah. Come on the bootcamp, and
Yeah.
all of this exists. Yeah, and we're going to show
Okay,
you
thank you.
if you want to. Basically, I'm not going to show you what it looks like. So if you want to build it yourself, and if you want to accelerate and install it straight away, we can help you. Yeah, like we are
Okay, thank
helping
you.
people just now. Is this recorded? Yeah. So all the calls on the community are recorded. You can go and on the you can. It's always the same. Huh? So I see if you so. Just answer this very quickly. So if you go inside the community here, you go into calls and events. All right, over here, and then if you go into past calls, you can see all the previous calls you got access to. And then with these, so I'm taking a random one here with red, so you can see all the transcript recording. It's all here. Okay. Always, it's always there. So stop asking the question. Sorry. So okay, already booked on the. So Carl, yeah, you got access to the. So if you're booked, you should have in your email straight away a link to the resource page and this resource I shared. And when you join, so basically you click through this, then you'll have a link to that. So the resource page will give you basically, if you want to share, basically share on social media, share in WhatsApp groups, invite other people to join to the bootcamp. You can copy and paste a link, an invitation, put this into all the WhatsApp groups you are part of, and then there are like a rule, like contact us in the live chat, and then you enter a prize draw to win a full year of property filter, the highest tier, the deal maker tier of property filter. So that's really cool to play. Your guide is here, and then there's other information if you want to know about Property AI Summit and other stuff. So all of this should be in your email when you once you've joined. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions about AI? Like cool stuff like logistics is cool, but I'd rather Found it. Perfect. Okay, so cool. Yeah, so I looked up Claude Desktop. What came up is Claude Code. So yeah, so Claude Desktop is just one AI interface. So it's the one I use. It's the one everyone who is installing this AI brain uses. And you need a kind of Claude Desktop, an AI interface on your machine. That basically links to an AI model that you can connect to your tools, and that points to the context you own. That's the secret to health, wealth, happiness, and results in property by implementing AI. Otherwise, you'll stay in the you'll use ChatGPT like a search tool, in your browser. So it cannot access and build and compound your context, and it cannot go and do things for you else. So we are at the moment, Team Claude. So because the models are the most competent, their interface is really good, and it's worked really good so far for us. But because we own our context, we are not bound to it. So today we use Claude through Claude Desktop. We use the models, the Opus and Sonnet. But the context is ours. So when tomorrow something comes that is 10 times better and 10 times cheaper, we change the interface, we change models, but the context is the same. So we still own everything. So that's really the idea here. Okay.
Sorry, Guillaume.
Yeah.
The question really was, is Claude Desktop or is Claude Code the same as Claude Desktop? Because that was all I could find when I Googled it.
No, but there's only one interface, it's Claude Desktop. And then in there, you can go into so Claude Desktop will have a toggle that tells you to go into Home, which gives you access to chat and co-work. And then Claude Code, which basically is more of a terminal that allows you to do a lot more things. So personally now I'm only using Claude Desktop, and within Claude Desktop, Claude Code. And Claude Code is a stupid name, because it makes it look like, I should be a developer. Like, I don't know how to code shit. I don't know if you know, but I have no idea how this whole property filter thing works. So my team built it. And I'm curious and interested, and etc. But it's Claude Code should have, if I can do it, everyone can do it. Claude Code should have been called Claude Basics or Bear Claude or something like that. Where basically it has less boundary. And the main difference between the two, and it's why they have a toggle, is because the traffic of the data goes into different places. When you use Claude Desktop and you use Claude Chat or Cowork, all the files and stuff, it's all stored on the Anthropic servers, so it's all sent away. But in Claude Code, you point to your local machine, so you own all of this stuff. That's cool. What I quite like about it, and the main difference between the two. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Ariette, you got your hand up if you want to come up.
Yes. So it's about actually Claude and what you just shared, and I've tried to do this last year, but I was very terrified on it taking over my system and everything. But I truly want you to be honest and put your hand on your heart, say you do let it go to your email and you trust it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It goes to my email.
Because I'm terrified.
It goes to why? So you can segment things if you are terrified. So why is it that you are terrified? Is it you are terrified about the secret emails you have with
No secret. What it does, it takes my emails, it responds to them by itself, or what if it does something stupid? What if it does something stupid or something? Yeah.
No. So because you can set it up to read only, draft only, put labels. Like you got like loads of. So you can make it do whatever you want. So if I'm gonna go in customize emails, I'm just gonna share my screen in a second. Because it's connected to everything. So all my folders, all my emails. Everything. So in here, so with the emails, for example, say get emails, get email message, get threads, draft list draft emails, list labels, okay, and then what can it write? So you see like how many, like it asks me permission to do everything, ask me permission to draft, ask me permission to label, and then all of this stuff you can parameter, so that's
But you
quite.
trust it. You've been using it for a while, and it hasn't done anything stupid so far.
Oh yeah, it's never sent an email on my behalf without me asking it to.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
But it's really, really good, because like for about, I talked about this last time, or I don't know who I was with, but I think I lent the book to someone, but it's a really, really good book. It's called Buy Back Your Time from Dan Martin, which is an old mentor of mine, and it's really, really good. So I think everyone should read it anyway. But there's a segment in there about the hierarchy in which you go and outsource. And the first person because people ask me, Guillaume, I'm too busy. Who should I employ? I need someone for marketing. I need someone for sales. I need someone for this. I need someone. So the truth is, your first employee should take away the noise. So you should take away of your emails and your calendar. And it's why the first person I hired, many years ago, my PA was looking after my emails and my calendar. That's all she did. The problem is I wasn't busy enough, and she was just a few hours. I could only afford a few hours a day, so I ended up going back into my emails and my calendar. It didn't work. It's only after when we scaled and I got really busy that I had someone full time to look after my email and my calendar. And now obviously her role has evolved, and she does lots of really cool stuff, around managing the community events, etc. But AI now runs my inbox and my calendar. So that's 80% of the noise you have right now is likely around this, So, and there's so much admin in property, like you cannot not do it, like following up on offers, like filling forms, like the whole thing about you instruct a solicitor and you've got like pages and pages of stuff. I don't read any of this stuff. So it goes in there and I fill the forms and then we send it back. It's like 2 hours turns into 5 minutes. And like property is so noisy. Like the admin of buying and selling properties is so noisy. Like I've got 2 properties, one I'm buying, one I'm selling right now. If I didn't have basically my property AI brain to run it, I would, I'd be full time on it, this and all sorts of like admin as well. So just to tell you how much I, trust it, is basically it runs all my projects, so all refurbs, all conveyancing. So all of these are projects. They have a start and an end. And in recent months, it's dealt with like my whole divorce, so all the disclosures, basically all my bank statements, all the stuff, to calculate, like they were like a 27-page forms with 628 individual fields, which had to be calculated. How much do you spend on groceries? How much do you spend on all of this stuff? I gave all the bank statements from all my accounts, all my credit cards. I created a big ledger. I did audit and confirm, that some stuff were categorized in the right way, and it did in me back and forth with it in 4 hours what would have taken me 2 weeks. Like honestly, it would have taken me 80 hours to do, just to go calculate and do it right, etc. These all sorts of memo to justify all sorts of stuff, so yeah, I'm way past trusting it to give it my email. That was a long time ago, right? Yeah, that makes sense. But it never sent an email on my behalf, so. And then there's layers to this, and we are, every revolution goes through 3 stages, it's ridiculous, it's scary, and then it's obvious, So at the beginning, you're like, well, I'm gonna give all my data to AI. That's ridiculous, and it's like I'm blanking myself from AI. It's too dangerous. I don't want him to have access to all my stuff. Like there's no way. And then it's gonna be obvious, So the sooner you understand in which stages you are. And it's not about the technology being wrong. It's about our understanding of the technology being insufficient. So long as you surround yourself with people who can help you with this, or you are curious enough to go and understand all the stuff, there are layers to this. So like we use Claude desktop. We point in. So we use the models for things, and then we know like some stuff it's being shared also because it's an American company and whatnot. But you have, if you want, with a little bit, because it's really, really simple, but with a little bit more complexity, you could use an open source interface that points at a 0 data retrieved model that that it's just all private, or you can run your own model locally. So the principles I'm sharing are the same. I'm trying to help you to remove the overwhelm of like there's so many tools, which tools should I choose? The bare bone is you want a model that's good enough for what you need to do, that builds a context with you, and connects with tools that are going to help you get an outcome. And tools start with the email and calendar. It's the first thing you link it, because then you can speak to your phone. You can speak. I go into my Claude and I say, can you organize a meeting tomorrow with Ayet at 2 p.m. and he's going to send you an invite, and you and I are going to turn up on Zoom. So all the stuff that people used to hire, like a personal assistant and stuff, it's this can be done with all of that, and it's really liberating, because it means a lot of the admin and boring jobs now. So the people who used to do that, they can do more interesting things, and you get to do a lot more things. Like can you imagine like property like 10 years ago, 8 years ago? Like we had to do everything manually. There were no property filter. People were paying like armies of VAs to manually fill spreadsheets and stuff. Like it's all of this is done. People would run operations where it would like literally cost them $2,000 a month for what you can get today for a tenth of that with a property filter and a cloud subscription. And that's how it works. So this is where the future is heading there, where this is the future, right? So in the not so far future, everyone will have their own personal AI operating system. They talk to. So we call it the property AI brain, because it primarily does property. But all the stuff, all the noise, around, and if you think like a billionaire, no billionaire out there don't have PAs organizing their holidays. No billionaire out there have got people. Literally, they'll have people around the house, like reordering toilet paper when it's run out, like, or sorting all of this stuff, and that's just what you can access. You can have like a billionaire lifestyle, in terms of headspace, peace of mind, and clarity, low noise, low life admin, like tomorrow, like in a matter of weeks, So all you need to do is be curious about these things, and be mindful of not falling into the procrastination traps of having fun, putting money in the casino, because it's fun, it's playful to ask questions with ChatGPT, but you need outcomes. And the second thing is, don't be fooled and overwhelmed by all the tools out there. You are paying the ignorance tax. Every time you see another AI tool that promises stuff, you are paying the ignorance tax, because you can build everything they've done in one afternoon directly from your AI interface. Directly from your talking to your cloud desktop, connected to the. You just have to understand things. So that's the purpose of this series. That's the purpose of the AI bootcamp, and the purpose of the whole AI transformation. I want to take as many of you by the end of the year. So yeah, that's us. What the name of the book, John? It's called Buy Back Your Time. It's probably one of my all-time favorites. So much so that I keep lending it to people and it never comes back. But and it was a signed copy, so that's probably why. So here we go. So any other questions on that? Let me know. Like, make sense? Can you type? Can you give me a make sense in the chat, or MS if that makes sense? Let me know if you're excited or overwhelmed or fearful. How do you feel about this? And I'd like to be I'd like to be the best person to help you with these things. If you've got an interest in that, we live and breathe these all day long. It's transform our business, and now today I see this is the next chapter for this community, right? So it's really, my bet is, because I could have created a gimmick out of this, like created a thing inside Property Filter where you have to, like chat inside Property Filter and all that, and keep you locked in, and commercially it would have been clever, But my bet is I can really teach you simply without selling a course, right? What is important, what is not in this AI stuff, and so you can go straight to the model, understanding, these things, trusting, with the trust and confidence that it does what you want it to do, and then it will. My bet is I can help you to get to this understanding and belief system where you have the mindset that you can control it, you can own it, without requiring any of those tools and subscriptions. That's my bet and my mission for the next few months, basically. So to help you with that. Okay, thank you, everyone. And in the meantime, go into the community and interact, ask any questions, help each others, and I'll see you for the next one of the series because there's more to cover on that. All right, and I'll see you in the bootcamp in September. See you. Bye-bye.